You see, it was called Pine Tots Elementary. It was in the social hall on the Methodist Church on Dare Road. They had a brand new social hall. Pine Tots rented out 2 classrooms. A kindergarten, which we'd never heard of before, and then a first grade. I was in the first grade. When you're a little kid, even today, one of your first jobs in school, the first day of school, is to sum up your teacher. Does this person know what they're doing, or is this the waste of a year? There's only 2 options there. And I decided that with Mrs. Krieger, this was the waste of a year. She clearly did not know what she was doing. And I could tell by where she placed me in the room. There were 2 tables in that room. I sat at the front table, 6 kids per table. I sat next to a girl named Allison. Allison had a problem. I had a problem. Allison's problem was that she was a screamer. Anthony! Anthony, my pencil, Anthony! Oh, I could not stand that girl. Anthony! Anthony, my eraser, Anthony! Oh, she was awful. Couldn't stand that girl, but I understood her. That was her problem. Now, I had a different problem. It was not my high-heeled shoes. The other kids didn't seem to care. I didn't care. My problem was that every single day, I would wet my pants. Now, I thought I had a really good reason for doing this. Now, in the middle of the morning, Mrs. Krieger would get us all up. We'd go out across the hall to the restrooms. She would go with the girls into the girls' restroom. We boys go into the boys' room. This was the first public restroom I had ever been in my entire life. We did not have McDonald's and Burger King everywhere. And if you went to my church, the restroom there was just like the church in our house. You went in and you locked the door. This was completely different. We opened the door. First thing we saw, somebody had taken a bunch of these little bathtubs and stuck them up on the wall. Now, we weren't dumb kids. We could figure out what they were for. We just weren't tall kids. They were no use to us. And then it was into the marble stalls. 2 big marble stalls, big, thick rock marble stalls, had this oaken door on the front, painted black, a little silver-colored metal lock on the back of that door. I watched the other kids go in there, and I would hear that sound, ka-chunk, and they locked that lock. I said, ka-chunk, I'm not going in there. That thing will ka-chunk, it won't let me loose, I'm not going in there. So I would hang back like I had already gone. We'd head back out in the hall, go start morning work again, and eventually it would start to work on me. And I would start the squirming. And friends, I don't know why we do the squirming. I think it actually brings it faster. But you reach that point where you have to let go. And so real quietly, not trying to give myself away, I would let go. And before long, down between my high-heeled shoes would be a puddle. And Anthony, basket, Anthony! Oh, I could not stand that girl. And so this happened every single day. Notes were being sent home. Phone calls were being made. There was no way I was going to explain to an adult I was afraid of the ka-chunk. I just wasn't going to do that. And so this keeps going on. And what I would do, at this point in my life, I had never heard the word evaporation. But I knew in my kid brain, if I could spread the puddle out wider, it would dry faster. So without looking down and giving myself away, I'd get my high heel shoes working. A little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Anthony! Oh, I could not stand this girl. And it's now the 2nd week of school, a Friday morning. Again, some days you'll remember so clear from childhood. And I go through the whole routine, got the puddle between my shoes, and I reach out with my right foot, I'm like, maybe today. And I reach out with my right foot, I could not believe my luck. My right foot hit a piece of paper. Yes, I will use this paper. It will dry up the puddle. No one's ever going to know. I think I'm doing great. Anthony. She went atomic this time. Miss Krieger comes running over. Allison, what is it, Allison? Anthony squished my banana. It was right then, I remembered, Allison didn't have a metal lunchbox like the rest of us. We looked under that table. There was Allison's lunch spread through the puddle. Mrs. Krieger grabbed my collar. My feet did not touch the ground. We were out of that classroom, across the hall, into the little office there. She was on the phone to my mom. My mom lived 1.5 miles from that church. She was there in 30 seconds. And they were both just yelling at me, standing over me, yelling, and I gave it up. I was like, let's take a charge, I can't go in there, let's take a charge. And I thought they were going to be so mad at me, but they weren't. They finally understood. And Mrs. Krieger, she said, Anthony, come with me. We went out in the hall, and then we went in the boys' room together. We went into a stall, and she closed the door, and she locked it, and she showed me how the lock worked, and she made me do it a couple of times. Then she said, come on back outside. We went back in the hall, and she says, Anthony, if you ever don't come out, I'm coming in to get you. And to be a little boy and to hear that, it made all the difference in the world. That day, Mrs. Krieger went way up in my esteem. It was a Friday, so my mom just went ahead and took me home. And that weekend, I was kind of worried about what Monday would be like when I got to school. Monday morning, we got back. 2 things were different. Number one, we had a new seating chart. Allison was on the other side of the room. What I had never figured out until that morning, we were just sitting in there alphabetically. It was Allison, then Anthony. Now we're alphabetical by last names. She's on the other side of the room. And Allison, who I thought was going to be so mad at me, she wasn't. Because that weekend, her parents went out and bought her a brand new, just like every other kid, metal lunchbox. Thank you for hearing our first word this morning.